Hey guys, first of all, welcome to the channel. My name is Reed, Central Illinois here. Welcome to the channel. Like I said, it's kind of the first real content video that we're going to do. First one was kind of just a, hey, let's pull some old videos together and just kind of see what happens, just for fun, more than anything. So this is the first one where we actually do something besides look at what happened last year. So yeah, first of all, I just got the truck back. It was at HSP Diesel down in San Joe's, right here in the middle of Illinois. Last few days, they're putting a Detroit True Track in for me. Has the original G80 in it, and the posi lockup ring was probably broken in 6-7 different places, and tons of metal shavings on the plug and all that kind of stuff. And basically, it was acting like an open diff, which, when you're actually trying to put any kind of power to the ground or just daily drive, especially when there's snow on the ground right now, it makes that not all that much fun. So yeah, it's got a True Track in it now. Locks up great the way it should when you're putting power down. Yeah, I had one in my old LLY, and they're great. So I'm more than happy with it already so far. So today we're gonna do a couple different things. First of all, here's the truck behind me. If you haven't seen it already, first of all, it's not that special, but at the same time, it's fun. Instagram is at LB7. Actually, excuse me, that's the old one. At LB7. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that has their Instagram or their engine size or engine code in their name. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a battery relocate mount, and then put a new coolant tank in, coolant reservoir from HSP Diesel in as well as reinstall my traction bars and go ahead and put back on my my rear sway bar as well. It's a Hellwig piece. I really like it. I think it looks neat. I think it performs well. So I took that off because it was right in the way of the rear diff, so I didn't want that to be in the way for the guys at IOD. Same thing with the traction bars. So we're going to reinstall that stuff, but most importantly, we're going to put on a couple new pieces just to clean up the engine bay. Obviously, there's no power being added by moving a battery to a different spot, but it'll clean the engine bay up. There's a lot of kind of older looking stuff in there, and I just kind of want to swap it over. So first off, we will take a look at the parts. As the first thing we can look at here, I just got it out of the packaging. This is an HSP piece, HSP Diesel. I do a lot of my parts through them. It's not because I don't like other people. I just happen to like their service, and I like their parts a lot. So this is their rear corner mount coolant tank. I have it in Illusion Cherry or Candy Red, whatever you'd like to call it, along with whatever fittings and that kind of stuff you need to elongate the hoses and that kind of thing. So pretty excited about it. I've had it on the shelf here for quite a while. Just took it out of the bag for the first time. Didn't have time to get the battery relocate kit built and that kind of thing for a while, but yeah, here it is. So it'll bolt on right back here, obviously. Yeah, so it ought to be a pretty clean install. One more mounting piece right there, and I'll just clean up that engine bay. We're going to remove the battery and the old coolant tank, put this in. So this is a little bit of a special piece. This is my battery Relocate tray. I actually designed this myself. Did it in SolidWorks, and then had it lasered out, and then I bent it myself. Got it within a degree, or actually more like a quarter of a degree on the bends that I wanted. It's just 35-degree angles on the corners. Cut out a little bit just for kicks and giggles, and put in some extra guards there. Basically, this is going to mount up in between, and we'll show it. It's mount up in between the inner front bumper bolts. So this is basically the entire battery is going to be hidden behind the front bumper between the frame rails. It's kind of a real clean look. You won't ever basically know it's there. The cables will stretch and reach over there, no problem. Basically bolt all that in, put the battery on, plate that in, and then suck it down with two big, these are 18/8 stainless bolts that I ordered as well. So yeah, we're gonna see how this first kit goes. I've already fitted up, obviously before I had it powder coated gloss black. But we'll see how the whole install goes, and if it goes okay, then we'll see if we can't make these more readily available for other people. Okay, so now we got those down. We're just gonna maybe just look a little bit under the hood here and kind of explain right what we're doing. should be somewhat self-explanatory, but just in case, we'll take a look at it and see what there is to see and see what's going to change and that kind of thing. So let's take a look at what we've got going on. Yeah, just to go over what we're going to actually be doing. As you can see, there's a little bit of extra things going on here under the hood, and basically we're just trying to continue those tomorrow. So there's a lot of illusion cherry piping and that kind of stuff. We're kind of just basically we're going to continue with that trend, just to continue to clean up the engine bay, get it looking a little bit nicer. Obviously this is not a show truck. This is a daily driver, weekend warrior kind of thing. But I don't know. That's where I like to spend money on the motor and the way it looks more than some other things. So that's what we're working on still tomorrow. What we're going to do is we're going to take this battery here. We're going to unbolt it. We're going to take the battery tray out and just take the battery itself, and we're going to move it down. First of all, let me apologize for everything just being absolutely filthy. It's been snowing and that kind of stuff here, and so I have not actually washed it. So I promise you it does not normally look like this. Anyway, the battery is actually going to be sitting right in this area, down a little bit so that you can't really see it, but it will be down in this area. So it's kind of a tucked away look there, and we'll be able to show it a lot better tomorrow. We'll get the grill off and all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to actually see down inside there. But once that's gone, we'll get rid of this coolant tank, and we will remount that new coolant tank right in this area. There's a couple bolts. It's a little bit dark right now, and we'll do a little bit better job tomorrow when we're actually doing it. There's a couple bolts that actually the battery tray bolts to there, as well as then on the inner fender here, that we'll reuse to mount that in, and then we'll replumb up the lines and that kind of stuff. So basically this will be gone and this will be gone, and we'll be left with another nice illusion cherry piece sitting in that corner. Now I know that some guys have done this, and they have basically just taken out that second battery in general, and you can do that, excuse me, especially if you were in an area where it doesn't get cold, where we're not cold being, we're talking 0 and below, or just for a long amount of time, to the point where you're actually having to crank to get cold starts going and that kind of stuff. In that case, yeah, by all means, if you don't have to have two batteries, that's great. In this area we do. Obviously this is a heated garage. That is a rather large heater for this garage, and so it does a really good job. But even at the end of the day, if you're sitting there with the truck parked at work for 10 to 12 hours or whatever, it takes a little bit extra juice to get them going. So I would always have a second battery in, and that's why we're moving it down. The other option was to put it along the frame rail somewhere and that kind of thing, and I just didn't really want to do that. Cool thing about this kit is that the battery cables that are OEM from the factory will actually reach down to where we're mounting it. So this is super easy. It's super clean. So I'm really excited about it. We'll see what we end up doing with the design later on, but it's got some potential to go somewhere else. So yeah, that's the kind of the basics of what we're doing tomorrow. Once again, I apologize for everything being a little bit dirty. From the camera, it looks pretty clean, but it's a little bit spotty and that kind of stuff. Like I say, it's been nasty here. So hoping to spend a lot of time on especially on the engine bay here shortly, and just get everything really cleaned up and looking good. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We'll get at it tomorrow. It's actually about 11. Well, actually, no, it's past midnight now here. Kind of a night owl, so and we'll get this going. I'm gonna have Kyle come over tomorrow, meet him, and then we'll get to work getting this stuff done. And we'll try to take videos while we're doing it, and I'll pause and do that kind of stuff. So we'll get her hammered out, and yeah. So we're gonna kind of try to show before we do it tomorrow where we're going to bolt to. So we're going to bolt to this bolt here, kind of right in the center of the screen, and it's going to stretch over, and it's going to bolt to that bolt's counterpart right here. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly where we are, but we're inside the front bumper. It'll kind of dip down right in between, and then it'll basically sit up in this open space that right now, realizing the camera doesn't look very large, but it is actually pretty large. It's probably about 15 inches tall. So there's actually plenty of room in there. It'll be below the holes there in the bumper, so you won't see it, and it should just be a good spot for it. Kind of fit in there really clean, and we'll take a lot better video tomorrow once the grill's off, and we've actually got it mounted in there, and you'll be able to see really easily kind of what we're doing. All right, guys, good morning. It is now the next day. So already kind of started tearing stuff apart. Also, I have switched over to a GoPro. I was noticing that I was having some issues with, having some issues with screen not going all the way out, so we're going to go to a GoPro instead. So we've already started here a little bit, so I've just taken out the grill. You can see it. Taking out the grill, I'm taking out the headlights, taking off the upper radiator shroud. All that's out of the way. So basically, this bumper bracket that we're going to put in is going to come in here, bolt onto this bolt here, and this bolt here, and just sit right in this area. So say it's a lot easier to see and picture now that things are opened up. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off, we're going to unhook the batteries on both sides. Obviously, you cannot just unhook one set because they are connected. And if you do that, then obviously you can have the chance of sparking and all that kind of stuff. We don't really want to do that. So we're going to take this off, unhook that one, and drain the coolant. And that way we'll be good to go to keep rolling. All right, guys, pardon the heater on in the background there. So I got the battery out and go ahead and get it plated on to the plate here. It's just 2 3/8 bolts. It's really strong. It's really tight. Definitely not going to go anywhere. Tell it I've left a little bit of gap on each side, but guaranteed that cannot get out. There's lock nuts and all that kind of stuff going on, so we have a pretty sturdy unit here. So I'm letting the coolant drain out of the truck right now. Once that's out, we can also then get the plastic counterpart of this guy out. And so in the meantime here, we are going to get this guy in. One thing I have done is I have pulled out the cables here. Obviously all power is pulled off of the truck. Pulled the cables out from, they used to run basically up through here, up through the top, and up to this corner right here. So I went ahead and pulled those out. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna shove them back down inside the frame rails and out through the front, like I said before. There's obviously plenty of room here as far as length of cable to get to the front. So that's half of what makes this install so easy. So, all right, we're gonna get back to it. All right, guys, good news. Got the plate and the battery in here. So try to shine a little bit of light in here so you can kind of see what we're looking at. We went ahead and attached to this bolt here. Here's the battery itself. This is a transcooler line running over the top of it there. We'll get underneath the truck too to really see it, but basically we are down here basically below the radiator core support. You say looking in here, there's nothing. It's actually, you can see it down below inside there. So it actually works out really well. You don't see anything when you're just looking at the truck. So let's go underneath it and we can see it just a little bit better than we can right now. Okay. So this is what we've got. This is where it bolts on. This is the kit itself. Say we're just here below the radiator core support. We're basically come up right to the bottom of it. Say it's really not very bright in here, but it works really nice. It's super tight. Doesn't move at all. We'll be able to get in here and get the cables put in without too much of an issue. So that'll be next. Finish draining the coolant, and then we'll get the coolant tank put on as well. Okay, so we're still letting the coolant drain a little bit. In the meantime, I went ahead and put the traction bars back on. I was gonna video, but really it's just 2 bolts, one at the axle and one at the frame. Obviously there's both sides, but other than that, we're just waiting for the coolant to drain. It's almost done. I'm just kind of letting it trickle out so that it doesn't make a mess in the garage. So in the meantime, I need to prep this guy. I was able to, while we're here, I was able to come inside here and get rid of the battery plate that was sitting right in here. So now this whole area is really open. This guy will come out here very shortly, but we are almost there. So in the meantime, we're gonna prep this guy, which doesn't take barely anything. All I need to do is install the float sensor here into the tank. Basically it gives you, there's a couple arrows. Not sure if you can see it on here or not. There's a couple arrows here. Basically just says that it needs to be in this orientation so that when you run out of coolant, basically it will break this sensor here. Basically it's 2 pieces of steel that come together, Hall effect sensor. come together, as assuming it's Hall effect. Might just be a reed switch or something like that. Basically, you just put this in here, screw it in, make sure that the arrows on here are pointing up, and you're good to go there. Probably put some tape on it yet. Other than that, it'll be ready to go. Then it'll just be a quick install of putting a couple hoses together. So other than that, we are ready to go. All right, guys, we are done. Pretty much done. Obviously, we still have to button everything up, but everything is in here. So it was just 2 bolts down there, 1 more right here. Reinstalling the lines. Basically, you have to splice a line, this big one right down here, to be able to make it long enough. But other than that, it was everything was 100% plug and play on that thing. I've already put a couple gallons of coolant back in it. For some reason I did not get this extra line for the little blow off there, so that's not really a big deal. I was trying to farm fleet real quick and grab that too. Be a good chance to let the truck run a little bit as well. So reran the battery cables. They're down, they're plugged in. You can't really see them from the top, but they are plugged in the back, kind of tucked in there real nice and neat, so you don't see them or anything like that. So we are basically to the point now where we can just button up the front end here. Need to put on the rear sway bar yet, but other than that, we are doing good overall. So yeah, we'll get it all buttoned up here real quick, and then maybe we'll roll it outside where it's a little bit brighter, and just take one more good look at it real quick. So this is what we've got. Here's the final product. Coolant tank just really cleans up that area, gets rid of the nasty old plastic, as well as that kind of rusty, crusty looking old battery plate and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more colorful piping going on. This motor is still filthy, still needs a little bit more work, especially towards that back firewall. A couple of things that might get a little more attention yet. But yeah, overall, truck's filthy, but like I said, you don't know the battery's in there. You can't tell any difference in that. Cables fit perfectly. Everything else is doing good. Like I say, the truck is still 100% filthy. Traction bars are on. We're gonna head out, maybe actually get it cleaned up here. It's gonna start thawing out here this week, and so it's gonna get nasty again, but that's no reason to not get the truck cleaned up a little bit better. So yeah, no, thanks for watching, and let me know. Leave comments or do whatever you want. Do it on Instagram, do whatever you want. Let me know what you want out of this. Like I said, this is the first real install video that I've done. If you want, more of a actual, fast forwarded version of the actual work being done versus just explanations and kind of step by step, anything we can do. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see what we can do with it this summer as things warm up and season gets going. Like I say, we'll do a full walk around. We'll get the good wheels put back on it and that kind of thing, and we'll get it looking good. So thanks for watching.